The deep forest drain had become the main gathering spot for a pack of aggressive wild boars. They weren't just raiding the fields. Last night, they charged into the pens, causing serious damage. As representatives of our village, we had to act immediately. Rifles loaded, we moved into the drain where visibility was limited and escape routes blocked. The target appeared, and the hunt began, quickly spiraling beyond control. Immediately, our team sought the perfect hiding spots. We set up ambush positions along the marked points in our plan, tracing the edges of the trench. At the tensest moment, a wild boar burst out from the dense forest into the trench. I was ready, waiting, giving it no time to react. The rifle barked decisively, and the boar dropped instantly. The immediate danger was eliminated, but the life or death struggle had only just begun. The shot had alerted the rest of the herd. As soon as the smoke cleared, my teammate Jack struck from another ambush point, taking down a boar trying to escape. Quick, precise. The whole action lasted just 2 seconds. Seeing that ambush tactics were no longer effective, thanks to the boar's heightened alertness, the team switched strategies. Hunting dogs were released immediately. The pressured boar had nowhere to run. I waited, pulled the trigger, and dropped it instantly. We then moved swiftly toward the treacherous cliffside. As expected, a massive target was hiding there. I quickly ranged, braced the rifle, and fired decisively. Down it went. The team pressed on, leaving smaller boars to the dogs. This dispersal tactic kept the hunt fast and effective in this brutal pursuit. Using sweep tactics, the dogs excelled at encircling the boar's main den. "They're boxed in! Hold your positions!" I whispered. The boars, sensing danger, emerged and immediately walked into the trap. That was all I needed, but this wasn't an easy shot. I lined it up perfectly, fired, and ended it with a single round. Done. Jack exhaled beside me. After the den, the dogs found new targets. Barking echoed from afar, signaling boars hiding in a muddy drainage. Without hesitation, we moved in. Using the terrain to our advantage, we took precise shots, putting an end to their reign over the area. day's final target revealed itself. The hounds barked in unison. Jack ranged it, and this would be the last shot of the hunt. Decisive. One clean hit, and the threat was gone. Silence returned. The danger of the deep forest drain had been eliminated, at least for now. After days of waiting, the day had finally come. Early in the morning, my whole family went out to the fields to harvest corn. Everyone was excited and eager, but that joy didn't last long. As soon as we reached the edge of the cornfield, I heard the cries of our neighbor, Mike. A quick glance across the field told me everything I needed to know. In just one night, the field had been severely destroyed. Without wasting any time, I grabbed my phone and alerted the team. Let's go! The aggressive wild boar herd is back. The hunt was on, and ahead of us lay a grueling journey where human cunning and the instincts of these wild creatures would clash. We moved into the untouched cornfields, where the corn grew tall. This created a perfect cover for the wild boars. From a distance, I heard the familiar rustling sound. Slowly, I made my way toward the noise, my heart pounding in my chest. And just as I had predicted, a wild boar appeared, crossing the path. Its fate was sealed. I aimed and pulled the trigger. The animal collapsed instantly, unable to move. A perfect shot, wouldn't you say? Looks like today's hunt is off to a good start. Assessing the situation, our team decided to venture deeper into the cornfields, where the boars were still hiding and silently destroying the crops. Of course, accompanying me were my loyal and intelligent hunting dogs. After only a short distance, the barking rang out, signaling their discovery. I quickly followed, knowing the wild boar had appeared. Sure enough, my dogs were cornering a boar that was busy nibbling on the corn stalks. Without hesitation, I squeezed the trigger and fired. The animal dropped instantly, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Everything unfolded swiftly and decisively. Meanwhile, to the west, Jack received the signal and moved toward the main path through the cornfields. As expected, the prey appeared. Everything unfolded in just a few seconds. Without hesitation, Jack squeezed the trigger and took down the boar with a single shot from a considerable distance. A perfect shot, don't you think? What do you think of that performance? Leave a comment below and let us know. On this side, I continued moving deeper into the cornfield. My loyal hunting dog had caught the scent of the wild boar and barked loudly, alerting me. It courageously charged ahead, subduing the prey, while I was ready to take down this fierce creature. I locked onto the target and squeezed the trigger. It collapsed instantly, unable to resist. The intruder was punished, and this was the justice it deserved. The fields were once again safe and secure. From a distance, Jack had already heard the sound of footsteps trampling the ground. Nothing else. It was the boars. Jack stayed alert, scanning his surroundings. The footsteps grew louder, and that's when the prey appeared. It charged forward like a lightning bolt. But of course, its speed couldn't match that of a bullet. Jack squeezed the trigger, and with perfect accuracy, he brought it down instantly. As the sun began to set, our team slowly made its way toward the road where our truck was parked, ensuring our safety. I moved cautiously, scanning the area, hoping to take down as many boars as possible. And sure enough, the heavens were on our side. A wild boar, caught up in its inspection of the corn, came into view. It was so engrossed in its work that it didn't even notice death creeping closer. Silently, I raised my rifle, gently squeezed the trigger. The bullet flew true, striking the boar and sending it crashing to the grass. And with that, I had accomplished the final goal of the day. our fields were temporarily safe. Returning to the village and seeing the bright faces of the locals, I felt a sense of relief. But in that moment, I realized that even though human life and nature sometimes have to clash, we always find a common ground. We hunt wild boars to protect our crops, while they hunt to survive. It's a natural cycle, and we are a part of it. The hunting journey continues. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next thrilling chase. Goodbye, and see you next time! In just 48 hours, more than 2 hectares of vegetable fields in the outskirts of Beja, southern Portugal, turned into a battlefield. Many footprints, broken stems, everything was like a challenge left behind. The farmland was repeatedly invaded, leaving the locals anxious and almost powerless. An alert was issued immediately. We answered the call for help, teaming up with local forces to prevent the wild boar herd from advancing further into the fields. And today, we officially enter into a life-or-death battle with these fierce creatures. Stay tuned! The dogs were quickly released. Before long, they had picked up the scent of the prey. The barking echoed, sharp and frantic, filling the entire field as they surrounded the target from all sides. Boom! A clean shot, and the sow fell to the ground. If it hadn't been taken down now, in just a few days, the whole field would be overrun by her litter. We received a report of wild boar sightings in the southern part of the field. We quickly jumped into the vehicle, the engine roaring as we raced to the reported location. As soon as we stepped out of the truck, the wild boar charged straight at us. Weighing 200 kilograms, it came barreling toward me, way too close. A decisive shot rang out. If I had hesitated for even a split second, I might have been the one lying on the ground. It was a terrifying close encounter. My back and hands were drenched in sweat after that brush with danger. The fields here stretch across dozens of hectares, so we had to divide into multiple teams to block off different directions. However, the pursuit was far from easy. With lightning-fast speed and incredible agility, even using off-road vehicles, getting close and taking down the wild boar proved to be a real challenge. Only through seamless coordination, steady nerves, and real-world experience could we hope to bring down such a cunning creature. The sunlight had dimmed, but the air in the field was still buzzing with the echoes of the hunting dogs. They worked tirelessly, tracking every scent, quickly driving the wild boar into the open. It was thanks to them that we had the chance to deliver a powerful and precise shot. A clean shot ended the chase, and with it, all the tension in my chest was released with a sigh of relief. From now on, this field will no longer suffer any further destruction. It was already 6 p.m., but we still couldn't pull back. A herd of wild boars appeared at the edge of the vegetable field, preparing for a brutal rampage. But today, what awaited them here was the inevitable end for trespassing into a territory they should never have entered. If you don't hear the sound of a gunshot, don't be fooled into thinking the battle is over. We remained alert to everything happening around us. Every step was taken with caution, ensuring that the shot would land perfectly. And there could be no more fitting end to today's hunt. And so, the fierce battle has officially come to an end. After a long, exhausting day filled with heart-stopping moments, the team finally made it back safely. The mission to stop the monstrous herd and protect this land has been temporarily concluded, and everything turned out even better than expected. These animals have devastated thousands of hectares of farmland, causing massive losses to farmers. With millions of them and their relentless reproduction, they've become a threat that cannot be ignored. Only under the cover of darkness do hunters get the chance to confront them, using the night's shadows and silence as weapons against these cunning foes. Will tonight's hunt be a success? Stay tuned for the heart-pounding moments coming right up. Kevin's team arrived at 5 p.m. sharp. In less than 5 minutes, they spread out swiftly, surrounding every corner. From his vantage point, Kevin scanned the entire field through his binoculars. Then, a large figure appeared head down, grazing, completely unaware. Without hesitation, his finger snapped on the trigger like lightning. The dark silhouette crashed down, a swift, clean, and powerful takedown. Clearly, the hunter's expert skill had perfectly dominated the prey. An impressive start and a clear warning to any wild boar thinking of destroying the crops. Moving deeper into the heart of the field, Kevin left no gap unchecked. Sure enough, another wild boar was brazenly wreaking havoc here. Without wasting time, Kevin quickly locked onto his target and chose the perfect shooting angle. The sharp crack of the shot echoed, sending the beast into a panic. But after just a few desperate steps, it collapsed in the bushes. It had restored the peace this place once knew. At another spot in the field,
Jay locked onto his target without hesitation and fired. The decisive shot seemed to release all the frustration built up from seeing the crops destroyed. The wild boar dropped instantly. The loud bang sent the others into a panic, scattering into the shadows in a flash. But there's nowhere to run when our team has already laid a full perimeter. Stay tuned and watch as the chase unfolds. Continuing the challenging hunt, the team quickly gathered to strategize and tighten the net on the remaining boards. As darkness fell, a new battle line was drawn. With modern gear in hand, Kevin soon spotted a lone wild boar separated from the herd, busy feeding in the field. Without hesitation, he squeezed the trigger. One precise shot brought the prey down instantly, ending the threat and saving the field from another night of destruction. The seamless coordination between cutting-edge equipment and team spirit forged a solid front that made completing the mission much easier. A signal came in reporting the wild boar herd gathering at the edge of the field. Kevin and his team moved in immediately. Upon arrival, everyone quickly took their positions, ready to fire. A volley of shots erupted simultaneously, and the herd was subdued in an instant. The battle was over, restoring peace to the field once again. The sound of gunshots rang out, marking the end of a tense night hunt and bringing peace back to the field. Today's victory was the result of strong collaboration between the hunting team, farmers, and local authorities, all working together to protect the crops. We're truly grateful for their support. All our activities took place within the designated areas and under strict supervision.
Before the morning mist had even lifted, farmers in Arkansas stepped out into their fields only to be met with utter devastation. Rows of corn, just beginning to tassel, were torn up from the roots, marked by countless tracks and churned up earth that looked like a battlefield. Months of hard work were destroyed overnight by relentless wild boars. They tried everything: electric fences, snares, even night watches. But against the stubborn and destructive herd, all efforts seemed hopeless. When patience ran thin and despair peaked, that's why we showed up. We came not just to hunt, but to restore order, to bring peace back to the fields and ease the worry etched into the eyes of the people here. At dawn, after carefully studying the terrain maps to chart every path and ambush point, We quietly split up to carry out our plan. Bob was assigned to hold the hillside position, blending into the green grass. He pressed himself low to the ground, making not a single sound. Through his scope, the target came into sharp focus, completely unaware that death was closing in. Bob's index finger rested lightly on the trigger, and a sharp crack echoed, dropping the beast instantly as it tumbled down the slope. Perfect opening shot. What do you think? Riding the momentum from our opening victory, we moved up the high hillside, a strategic position overlooking the entire area below. We knew the prey would soon reveal itself. Then, a dark shape slipped through the trees, unable to escape my watchful eye. One single bullet rang out, ending the destructive beast's journey. No words spoken, no unnecessary movement. This was seamless teamwork forged through the hundreds of hunts together. One less menace, and this land grows a little more peaceful. Not far away, along the red clay hillside, from our ambush position, we didn't need to move. Our strategy was clear. The hunting dog's job was to drive the herd straight into the trap that we set. Just as planned, the panicked boars charged right into the kill zone, where gunshots rang out to finish the job. The rest scattered, unaware that ahead of us were our checkpoints. The flawless coordination between the dogs and our team made the hunt much easier to conclude. Following muddy tracks on a tree trunk, Jean made his way to a meadow about 10 meters away. The target was now in sight, but a rookie might rush the shot right then and there. Jean did not. He let the boar walk calmly into the perfect line of fire. Because in hunting, patience is the sharpest weapon. And the final shot is simply the full stop on a perfectly timed wait. Do you recognize that experience often means a better chance at victory? And with that, this land edges a little closer to us. As the chill of the late afternoon crept in, the team reported spotting the target in the southern thicket. Finn's group quickly closed the circle. When the GPS group, he knew the prey was close. The moment it burst out of the brush, Finn's bullet ended the game. In that blink of an eye, there was no room for hesitation. only skill and reflexes honed into pure instinct. What score would you give this shot?
As the sunlight spread across the Turkish fields, Thomas and his team gear up for the next crucial days in their hunt to stop the monstrous wild boars. Their eyes scan every footprint, every broken blade of grass left behind by the beasts. They know that even the smallest slip-up could let these creatures vanish once more. But this time, armed with unwavering determination and the latest high-tech gear, Thomas is confident the chase will face fewer obstacles. The real battle is just beginning, and the question remains: who will emerge victorious? Stay tuned till the end to find out. The team gathered early, jumping into their hunting vehicle and speeding toward the post-harvest fields in Turkey. As soon as they arrived, Thomas's footsteps moved swiftly, hunting for the target. Before long, a large, hefty silhouette appeared clearly in the open land. The beast ran fast, but it couldn't escape the barrel of Thomas's gun. The moment the shot rang out, it went down, marking the team's first hard-earned victory. Back in the hunting vehicle, the team pushed deeper into the golden cornfields. Thomas was certain this was where the marauders were hiding. Every tense second counted as Thomas and his crew silently scoured every corner. Just as expected, a rustle broke the quiet nearby. Without a word, guns were raised and a shot fired the moment a dark shape burst out. One single bullet was all it took to bring down the massive beast in the blink of an eye. But the team's fire burned brighter than ever as they moved on to a nearby vegetable field. Before the hunt could even begin, the baying of hunting dogs rang out, alerting Thomas. In less than 5 minutes, he had the target locked down in the middle of the field. Without hesitation, the shot rang sharp and true. The wild boar stood no chance. Silent and still, it lay motionless. Another victory won, adding a layer of safety to Turkey's precious farmland. Thomas's team was positioned, securing the entire hillside. Thomas was in his hiding spot when suddenly, a herd of wild boars charged up from the bottom of the slope, seemingly heading toward their den. Instinctively, he raised his rifle. A rapid burst of gunfire followed. In just a few seconds, one by one, they fell. As each boar tumbled down the hillside, a surge of pride swelled within us hunters. We were happy, knowing that tomorrow, the villagers would reap a bountiful harvest, free from the threat of the wild boar menace. A quick battle ended with plenty of spoils in hand. But they didn't stop there. Footsteps pressed on, hunting relentlessly. Just as Thomas settled into position and scanned the area, a lone wild boar trudging through the brush couldn't escape his sharp gaze. With practiced precision, he chambered around, squeezed the trigger in one smooth motion. The shot rang out, and instantly the beast was stopped in its tracks. What do you think? Was that shot powerful enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Down the rugged hillside, a wild boar darted like a bullet straight into Leon's sights. In a sharp, decisive moment, the shot rang out instantly. The beast lay motionless, no chance to fight back. Thanks to that swift strike, this land has been spared yet another threat. The hunt wraps up with a flawless finish, successfully stopping the threat in its tracks. After days of relentless defense, Thomas and his team have finally secured the crops from these relentless beasts. Have you ever witnessed wild boars destroying crops firsthand? They don't just eat the corn, they trample, uproot, and destroy entire fields. This time, my close friend called me in a trembling voice. "Come back quickly, the wild boars are here, wrecking everything." When I arrived, I was speechless. His whole field was in ruins. We couldn't just sit there and watch this devastation unfold. We made up our minds. We would go into the forest and hunt down these destructive creatures. Stay with us to see if we can pull it off. The strategy meeting was quick. Each of us had a task, a position to take. Guns, binoculars, GPS, and of course, the hunting dogs were all ready. With everything set, we moved toward the enemy's turf, determined to show no mercy. It wasn't even fully daylight yet, but we had already taken our positions in the marked areas. I was stationed on the middle of the hill, where I could easily keep an eye on the surrounding land and break the wild boar's formation. Then, it appeared. A dark shape slowly walked out from the bushes. I held my breath, locking onto the target. 1, 2, and 3. The bullet sped off, making the boar pause for a moment. It tried to scurry away to find shelter. I stayed calm, watching the target quietly. A few minutes later, the boar collapsed in the bushes just ahead. I let out a quiet sigh. The journey ahead would be tough, but stay with us to see what happens next. While I was locked in combat with my target, a shadow suddenly rushed forward. The previous shot had alerted the other boars, and chaos ensued. Fast as lightning, one of the boars came into Jack's line of sight. The distance was perfect. Boom! A shot that echoed through the hills, quieting the madness around us. We exchanged glances. That was a perfect timely shot to stop the oncoming danger. We moved toward the next hill. This area had thick patches of grass, not too dense, making it an ideal hiding spot for the wild boars, but also a perfect place for us to take them down. There it was, the wild boar, startled, charging out from the thicket. I held my breath, watching carefully, waiting for the perfect moment. It paused, and that was when I squeezed the trigger. The boar dropped instantly. At this point, chaos unfolded before our eyes. A barrage of shots rang out. Sensing the danger, the remaining boars panicked and scattered, fleeing deeper into the forest. Plan B was quickly set in motion. We pushed into the woods, determined to track down the wild boars. We weren't gonna let them escape. The terrain presented significant challenges for us, making it hard to spot the wild boars. Suddenly, the familiar sound of footsteps caught my attention. My senses were instantly on high alert. My heart raced. I took a deep breath, aiming my rifle in the direction of the noise. At that moment, a shadow shot out like an arrow. Headshot! The boar dropped instantly, before it could even make a move toward me. Radio crackled with a report from my team. An enemy was closing in on my position at lightning speed. I could hear it, footsteps approaching. I raised my rifle and waited. Then, as expected, a shadow emerged from the trees. I pulled the trigger. The shot rang true, taking the boar down. We weren't about to let anything threaten the peace of this village. If it came anywhere near us, there would be no mercy. As the sun began to set, we moved toward the edge of the forest, but we stayed alert. The boars were still nearby, and they could attack at any moment. Sure enough, the sound of rustling leaves caught our attention once more. There it was! A familiar silhouette appeared, and with a swift shot, we brought it down. The boar staggered before falling to the ground. It was the perfect ending to our hunt.